Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and how it is nearing its prior all time high of $58,000. Currently, we're trading at just north of 56,000. We're roughly about $2,000 away with a Bitcoin price of, 50,000 plus. $2,000 isn't that much. In fact, it's exactly, roughly, 4%. Another 4% move will get us to the prior all time high. And so, we could speculate, if what are the chances of Bitcoin getting to the upper bounds? So 60,000 is obviously a target, but $80,000 is also one of my targets as well. And here we're going to discuss how can Bitcoin get there, at least in the short term. Now that is a monumental task. That is roughly a at these levels, it's a 43% move to the upside to get to $80,000. Um, However, we could talk about this whole time how Bitcoin has been able to do it before. So there is that. However, there's also the point of the prior all-time high. If Bitcoin, okay, and these are the conditions that need to be met. If Bitcoin is able to continue trending up, it could be for this week or the following week, but at least within March, um, then we could see a price discovery Bitcoin, because this is the prior all time high, and we can really start moving up just like what we did here back at 50. What was it, $50,000, $40,000? We went to 40,000, corrected back down, and then rallied again for another 100%. If we take the candle body to candle top of that move, that's about an 80% move from the prior all-time high to where does that lead us? Well, that leads us to actually 83,800. So if history is to repeat itself, if Bitcoin is able to get past its prior all-time high, then $80,000 is on the cards for Bitcoin. Um, that is all great, and I understand that like an $80,000 Bitcoin is the little wacky. I mean, $50,000 is pretty wacky too, but you have to get, I guess, comfortable at these levels, and that would be one level to take into consideration. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to make it to $80,000, um, but if it's able to break above its prior all time high and get back into price discovery, then Bitcoin's capable of anything at that point. However, a few things to keep in mind. If Bitcoin gets into price discovery mode, then it's very likely then altcoins are going to continue to bleed. I mean, Ethereum's down 4%, Link is down four and a quarter. Well, basic attention tokens up 4%. We'll talk about that later, but it will continue to bleed. Their Bitcoin valuations will continue to bleed. And so if you're heavy on altcoins, this is not something that you want to see. You don't want to see a price discovery Bitcoin. You ideally want to see Bitcoin turn it around here. In fact, it should have been being turned around at about like $54,000, but here we are at 56. So take that into consideration. If you do hold a majority of altcoins, this might not be good for you, and this is one reason why I really do like having a sizable position on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin does go into price discovery, or even worse, if Bitcoin corrects drastically from here, then your altcoin positions are just going to get destroyed either way. At least if Bitcoin goes into price discovery, your US dollar valuations against your alts are going to be probably fine. But if we're talking about US dollar valuations and Bitcoin valuations, then a correction is not going to be good news for you. Another thing to take into consideration, I talked about how it has to happen within the month of March. Currently, right now, we're up 23% in the month of March. If if we're able to continue the trend, if we're able to break through the prior all-time high of the month of March and continue on within this month, then it becomes I would get extremely cautious. We talk about the RSI on the monthly chart. It's currently at 91.27. If Bitcoin breaks past its prior all-time high and starts making new highs and eventually goes to, and if it does go to $80,000, then the RSI is going to be in the mid 90s. And what do we know about the mid 90s? Well, mid 90s, 96 to be exact, 96.01, 96.63. These are tops. Okay, these are, whether they're local tops or global tops, these are levels that we want to keep an eye on. If Bitcoin's at $80,000 by this month, you bet your bottom dollar that this is going to be in the mid 90s. Currently at 91, so we're close, but not that close. If we're at $80,000, we're right at the door. And at that point, we can turn around and kick the can down the road. And I mentioned that, these are either global tops or local tops. Because if you look at, say, August 1st, the month of August 2017, that was, you could say that was a top. We retraced right after, but, it was a 8% retracement, but it was a local peak on the RSI, followed by a new peak, an additional peak around the same level, but at a higher dollar value. The 2013 run is a little bit more easier to discern. You see a local peak here, which coincides with the peak on the RSI at about 96.85. Following that, we had a second peak around the same RSI level, but a higher dollar value. So if we're able to go to $80,000, that would be a peak on the RSI and potentially a local peak on Bitcoin where we retrace back down, regather ourselves, and then make another run for a global top or for a macro top, which would probably result in another peak on the RSI. So that is to consider. So yes, Bitcoin it is possible for Bitcoin to get to $80,000. The first step is to break its prior all-time high. At that point, if it does with conviction, then buckle your seatbelts. Bitcoin is probably going to go on for a wild ride, um, and at that point, we kind of hold our breath and see how high Bitcoin really goes. And at that point, we can discuss the likelihood of $80,000. At this point, if it does break that, sure, it's possible. But with short-term price movements, it's very very difficult to discern. In fact, at these levels, it seems like Bitcoin can go either way. It has been doing very well the past 2 weeks, and it has reached its prior all-time high, or it's very close to. At the same time, it can correct tomorrow, and we can go back to the 20-week moving average or 20-day, what have you. Um, but that is something to take into consideration. Take into consideration that if Bitcoin breaks its prior all-time high, it does have a chance to get to an $80,000 Bitcoin or somewhere in that region. However, at the same time, be prepared that your altcoin positions won't be realized, like the gains won't be realized as quickly, because Bitcoin is volatile. And at the same time, we're nearing a peak on the RSI, which could indicate a local top for Bitcoin and a local top for the total cryptocurrency space. As always, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.